All right, it is 4:32 p.m. on Tuesday, August 9th. This is the FCC PR subcommittee meeting, FCC as in Fitchburg Cultural Council. I call this meeting to order. This meeting is being recorded and available on demand at fatv.org. Please keep that in mind when making any comments. Be aware of how your screen may appear and that our meetings are open to the public. The FCC is a nonprofit volunteer body that is part of the city of Fitchburg's government and the state entity, the Mass Cultural Council. The PR subcommittee specifically focuses on the council's public relations. This is a non-voting subcommittee. Any voting decisions are brought to the large council, which meets monthly every third Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Today, those who are present is Matt Bruin, who will be doing minutes, Liz Murphy, our treasurer, Eileen Berger, our PR co-chair, and also grant coordinator. And we're also joined by Shara Osgood and Sam Luxma, who are Fitchburg Cultural Council members. Thanks, guys. All right. So for starters, announcements. I am stepping down as chair of the PR subcommittee. So I was wondering, is anyone interested in stepping up and becoming the chair of the PR subcommittee? And if not, would we like to disband the publicity subcommittee, or at least put it on hold until more people are available to join? Hi, Tamar. Tamar has just joined us. Tamar just made the announcement that I am stepping down and seeing if anyone is interested in becoming the chair of the PR subcommittee. All right. So does
I just want to say thank you for all of your work, and I hope this doesn't mean that you're leaving the council.
It does not.
That's good. Good. I am not volunteering for this because I definitely could not take on that level of work, and I am not the social media guru that you are. So, but yeah, I appreciate all your work.
Thank you.
Yes, Audrey and I spoke earlier. I don't mind tagging along as co-chair, and I'm happy to write press releases or anything else, but I really didn't want the I guess responsibility of organizing the meeting and all of that. So we thought it might do just as well to pull all the meetings together into one meeting. That would save us from having to meet twice a month. And I think it would prevent some confusion about who's doing what.
Yep.
And we have a number of members stepping down and not renewing, which we'll be announcing next week. So there's not as much bandwidth that we're going to have going into the grant season. So it's probably best if we do minimize meetings, because we're going to have a lot to do starting soon with the grant season.
Yep. Yeah. All right, great. All right, so I guess that means we're deciding that we should disband the PR subcommittee until there are more members, or that it becomes important again. All right, sounds good. So for the rest of the agenda, do you guys should we go through all the things, or would it be easier just to talk about it at the large council meeting? I mean, I know that the next one is going to be hefty.
I think it makes sense to at least go through what we can today.
Yeah.
Especially since you got us all here.
I know.
That's true. You're all here. Anyways. All right. So, all right. I'm going to first start with Fitchburg Open Studios, actually. So Tamar, status report. What do you need from us? How's it going?
So we're working on the brochure and the map right now. We have everybody's locations. Thanks Liz for helping me cross-check all the people. We have a couple people I think to add, i.e. one person to add. So the brochures are in progress. We're dealing with the maps right now, and we found out that we can use Google Maps, provided we give sufficient credit to Google, which is surprising to me, which eliminates hours and hours of work redesigning the maps in Illustrator. So that's what we're working on today. Actually, somebody is working on that right now and had a couple questions for me. Actually wanted to know like how to break down the locations on the maps, because we're going to try to, I guess that's a question for Matt. We're going to try to do the insert, the piece on the inside. And I know if we have to fold it ourselves, that's fine. I just hope that's still okay. And I know we're behind the 8 ball because I know the printing facility is going to get busy soon. We also have all the signs from Peter. Not everyone returned their signs last year, so that's kind of a big problem. So we're going to have to remake signs. And then we're going to put vinyl on the old signs. So I have the count from Peter that I got just yesterday because a lot of people delivered them to Capadagli's Boulder Art Gallery. And I have to organize a pickup day, but I didn't want to do that until I had a definite as to when I would have all the materials ready. So it may be later in the month, when a little later after next week, when I can make that determination based on printers. So that's the update. So we're sending emails. We're starting to send emails and post lots of social media posts about the artists that are part of everything. The bus company, I appreciate that you put me in touch with the bus company, Audrey, and they sent me, I haven't been able to finish it or get to it. He wanted all kinds of data, how many riders we're going to have and like a lot of information. And I apologize, but I haven't been able to get to it. So they were happy to help, but they needed more from me, which then meant I didn't have enough time to get him everything he needed. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go forward with that.
It's a really great opportunity. Actually, they reached out to us. I wasn't sure if what spurred that idea, but yeah.
They need their writers, and they've hired someone who's basically a community. His job is to interact with the community, which is amazing.
That's awesome. So they're interested in doing like a special route for that weekend.
Oh.
Yes, but we have to get them data on locations, and I didn't have those at the time, all of the locations, and then rider count, which there's no way to know. So it was kind of like chicken and egg. I don't really know what to do about it.
Could we do something like if we wanted to have like the bus tour, where it would take like a whole group of people around to all the different spots, like could that be like something people could sign up for, the bus tour? And then that way we could say, okay, we have 20 people for the bus tour. Do you still want to do it, Mart? Something like that. I don't know. I mean, and maybe we could even make it a little, I don't know how to make a bus tour more fun, but like, can we we'll put art in the bus or something? I don't know.
Is it something people would have to pay for?
No.
Or
Well, it didn't come across to me that they were going to charge for it.
And that would make sense, that if they're trying to just they have to get the ridership there first so that they can actually start
Yeah, let me see if I can.
having a better and more consistent system and stream of income for them.
Do you think like maybe even just doing like a Facebook poll of like, are you planning on attending the open studios, and would you take advantage of the Mart bus, of like, the art bus?
I think a poll is just, I don't know, it's more to manage. You know what I'm saying? They wanted specifics. They wanted number of people, exact locations, and times of service. That's what they wanted. And I have not had time to deal with it. So I don't know if anybody wants to pick up that ball. I'd have to have it done before we go to print with the brochures, so we could put it on the brochure.
Tamar, I feel like if I had a list of the locations, we could, at least the things that are right around town, we can certainly set up, figure out a route and set it up so that there were.
Yeah, we
um,
just got all the locations. The only thing missing is we needed to reach out to one Leominster person and see if she wanted to come into town. Into Fitchburg, and we also have one person in Gardner, and again, I think it would, I haven't had a chance to, but we need to reach out to them and see if they would want to come into Fitchburg. Again, you know, we don't need to make them, it's perfectly wonderful that they could be at their locations, but just to kind of centralize everything, because there's
Mm.
not a lot in other locations.
Right. So I'm wondering one of two things. Is it a bus that can bring people from other locations into Fitchburg? Or is it a bus that would bring people in Fitchburg around from place to place?
Yeah, it's the MART bus line, so it would be a bus that's a MART bus that would be local. I mean, if they did a pickup at the train, that would be amazing or something, you know, we could suggest that, or. I mean, the interesting thing is there are cities that do this. For example, First Thursdays in Providence of galleries, they have a bus you can get on and ride around, which is nice if you don't want to drive and try to find parking everywhere. The nice thing about our list is that most everybody's kind of central to downtown. So
Mhm.
you could literally park and walk, except for the really far ones, which there's only 4 this year. And then Creative Connections in Ashburnham, he's got like a pack of artists at one location. So it's not much driving and there's plenty of parking. But ours is pretty central.
Which looks
So-
kind of nice. Wait,
Mhm.
so what are the people on the map? There's
So
like
I-
people that are doing this.
Yeah. So I've already put all the listings that we have so far in a Google Maps, which I've sent you guys the links for. I've sent Liz and Tamara and Matt the links. I was also like putting together a public art directory of so all the easels are murals, and then all the people are sculptures. Oops, I just lost the
Oh, so
map.
that's not the Fitchburg Open Studios locations. That's just the public art.
It's
Not
it's
just, but
both.
it's. Oh, okay.
And then so all the numbers are the locations. Why does it keep going away on me? So we've got Catherine Swansea in Leominster. We've got Douglas Caves is the only one like in Fitchburg that's like not in that like central area of like downtown. And then well, in addition with Abigail, who's like slightly outside of downtown. But then there's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 artists in Ashburnham, and 2 artists in Gardner.
The ones in Ashburnham, you said they're at Creative Visions, right? It's like an arts center, and I'm sure they're wanting to promote their center too.
Right.
Yeah.
it's Creative Connections, it's one
Creative
location.
Yeah, I've been there.
And these are their artists that are represented that day, that are participating.
It's a gift shop and gallery, in which Tamar was curious if I could, if we could embed the Google Maps on there, and if we could include public art in the tour. Like, I don't think we need to list them individually in the brochure, because that would be like way too many. There's like about 30 different murals and sculptures. But
Share the screen, Audrey?
what'd you say?
Can I share the screen? Is that, am I allowed?
Yes. Let me see. Make co-host. All right, you should be able to now.
All right, so see this, this is like the inside, how we were gonna do the inside. And there's a 1 for murals, there's 1 for the sculptures, 1 for the pop-up sculptures, and then there would be, this is the Fitchburg locations. And then this shows the 1, 2, 3, 4 outside of Fitchburg locations. So this is kind of what we're thinking of doing. And then the numbers would reference the artist list, which is on the other side.
You don't want to combine because that means that's 3-4 maps all for downtown.
But this is the most important, is this one. I mean, if I could make this one massive, because this is where we need people to go. We don't actually need people to go to any of these on the right. These are like side things, right? It's nice if they go
Yeah.
see them, but we need everyone to go visit the artists.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just like blow up the map and not have what you created, because that's very nice. But these are the most important.
Yeah, it's too bad that these icons can't be like smaller, so that it is overwhelming to have them all on one map. Because I'm looking at it and like numbers are covered up and such. But also I was thinking that it kind of creates a path of like, all right, well, you can go here and here, but you'll also be able to see this artwork on the way. And like they can just kind of park at one end of downtown and walk from there.
Any thoughts on this, guys? I mean, last year we just had the locations. It's a nice addition, but we need the focus to go to the where the locations are.
I like having the map. I think the numbers, I think having, the artists' locations are the priority on it though, for sure.
Absolutely. I wonder could we do something where we have the numbers be like just one map where we have the numbers be larger because that's the focus, but then we have some other smaller icons that just indicate other points of artistic interest. And maybe there's just some writing, but not separate maps for those. Just, I love the maps, the fact that we have the multiple, and I think they'll serve multiple purposes in the future if we can keep them up to date. But you're right, the focus should be on the Fitchburg Open Studios, and I kind of even feel like the Fitchburg Open Studios map itself is a little small.
It is a little small. It's hard to read. I mean, for those of us that need glasses.
Yeah.
It is. It's hard to you got to literally look. Okay, number 2. Where's number 2? Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see the just one map if we could.
Yeah.
And if that needs to just be the studios, okay, but if we could put some of the other points of interest as smaller icons, maybe along the way, that if they're walking from one to another, then maybe that would work without kind of overshadowing the open studios.
Or if these maps of the public art could be on the Cultural Council webpage, and we could have a QR code or something on the map that says, after this weekend, be sure to check out all these pieces, because I agree, the maps are great. Whoever, I guess you made them, they're terrific. It's good to have them. So I think it might be, that might be a way to do both.
Yeah. So I just made an adjustment on the map, and I made the icons like small dots. And that way you can see the numbers much bigger, they're prominent, but then they're just colored dots in which that there are murals there. And then we can put it all on one thing.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
And then if we still need the 2, I need the huge area, like the region, and then I need the town itself.
Yeah.
So
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. So this one showing other people, other places, and then our downtown.
And I've put this map on our, we actually have a link tree. And if you don't know what Linktree is, it's just like a free website in which you can list a bunch of website links. It's very social media friendly, especially because Instagram, it won't take links and stuff like that. And so instead of putting our, both our City Hall website and then our Mass Cultural Council website and then our Facebook and Instagram, whatever, it just has a link to our Linktree. and it has it like all those links and more, including Fitchburg Open Studios and application stuff or whatever. And so this map is also on there, and that's what I've been sending people to. And the link tree is also on our City Hall webpage, so people can find it there too.
Sounds good. So I'll email the bus people and see. I can see what happens. I don't know how to give them, I can give them addresses. I don't know how to tell them about people. So I don't know what to do there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, I could respond to them with creating a route and like the hours, but yeah, do we have like have any of the artists given feedback in the past of like, have we asked them like how many participants have there been? I think
Well, yeah.
like,
Yeah, we keep track of that. I mean, I always had 30 to 36 people in a day.
so maybe we could give them that number.
Yeah, it's a starting point anyway.
Okay.
Because yeah, this is new, so we don't really know.
Yeah,
And hopefully that would be enough.
okay, I'll see what happens.
Thanks, Tamar. So you'll respond.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. And then I had asked if we could create a page on Fitchburg Open Studios for listing the different public art, and if it was too much for you to do, if you gave me web access, I could like editing access, I could create that page.
Sure.
Thanks. I figure that way it'll make Open Studios like a more relevant year round, because people will look up the public art directory. Another thing I want to bring up, especially as we are kind of trying to step back a little bit, considering how our council is getting smaller. Tamar, how has organizing Fitchburg Open Studios through Fitchburg Cultural Council been, and would it be easier for it to be organized through a more private entity like Fitchburg Cultural Alliance? Something that you can think about, but.
I mean, it's a lot of work, and it could be more work. There could be more that could be done. So the reason it's with the Cultural Council right now is because there's more of us. So that's why we got the council to take it over. Because at the time it was like myself and Peter and Lisa Rigopoulos. So when Lisa stepped away, it was just Peter and I, so it made sense to have more people. But in Boston and in lots of other places, the way these arts things are, they're usually managed by volunteers, not usually by organizations, unless it's a volunteer organization, which is what we are anyway. So, I mean, it's not something that the council has to do. It's something that, you know, any arts organization could do. The Alliance could do it. So that's something we have to vote on.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to, like, since this is the last PR subcommittee, it's something that I wanted you to think about. I did mention it to Joe, who is now the Fitchburg Cultural Alliance president, and he said that he would be interested in that. I just figured that we are somewhat limited as organizing events through the Cultural Council, in which if too many of us are discussing organizing events, then that would break, like, you know, open meeting law. Versus a private entity, you know, if there's 10 people that are organizing an event, they can email each other whenever about it. They can meet whenever, get all the stuff. So I do feel like that the Cultural Council is a little bit limited for organizing events.
I would love
if I could say something, I like the fact that we're supporting the FOS. I like the fact that we're doing something more than just working on the grants for artists. The idea of meet and greets and things like that. And so, and not that I've been the greatest help on the FOS, but I like it being part of our of what we're doing, as long as we can. It seems to me that Tamar and Audrey do most of the work, mostly Tamar, I guess. You know, I'd be happy to help if there was something you thought I could do.
Well, I think there's a lot more that we could do. It's like, I like this year, I don't have the bandwidth at all really to do more or think about how to do more. And there's a lot more that could be done. We could do side events, there could be pop-up events, there could be, side tours, like it's just, but there, you have to have, I don't guess, the bandwidth and the people to make it work, but which is why I thought it'd be great if the council took this project. But I also think it would be great if the Alliance took this project. Either way, it's, and I kind of wanted to be true to Peter Capadagli's, he's the one that started this. And I don't like to see things end just because there's not someone to manage it. So I think I'd like to see it go into whoever's hands can make it happen. So if the council can do it again, great. And if we need to take a vote eventually and move it to another organization, I'm all for that too. As long as it doesn't lose Peter's name. That's what I was interested in, having it stay in, so that's why I've changed the brochure this year so that it says that he was basically the founder of it in a way.
Nice.
And I think that's important. And I want to be true to it too, because we were at the time on Main Street and I was very excited to be part of this. So I don't want to see it die. So even if it moves to somebody else to manage, I would still want to be involved. So
Yeah.
It's a big discussion,
I would
I
say
think,
that-
and I think we should probably put together a group, just a small group, maybe including some people from the Cultural Alliance, to see how we could improve this and how it'd be best. But I think it's a wonderful thing, and I agree with you, Tamar. We've not been going through the best of times with the pandemic and all of that. But I think, when everybody's on hand and everybody's well, I think could be quite a thing.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I think so too. The FAST, and I don't know what that stands for. It's the New Hampshire tour. They do it, I think it's Columbus Day weekend. And I know that one of the artists who's like managing it, and it has basically a group of artists. They all pitch in on the funds. They have a treasurer who does the financial part. And then they have each year, one of them sort of manages the organizational, like the marketing piece. And then everybody else just has to get their information in on time. So it definitely can be done. There's different ways to do these things. So I know there's one in Boston I follow, and they're a group of volunteers, and they had to cancel during COVID, and they put calls out for volunteers, and so I know that the council's job isn't necessarily to do this, but I also know that we can. So
I think it's really wonderful, all the things that we've been doing. It's definitely, we have spread a lot of awareness about the council, and it's just cool that we do so many things for the community. I'm just thinking about capacity, or like bandwidth capacity, so you like to say. And also I wonder if there's maybe there's a way that we can partner with an organization, we can still be part of it, but maybe in that way, then if it's only 3 people from the Cultural Council and 3 people from the Alliance, that's 6 people that can work on this together, and it's not you have more support and such. Obviously we wouldn't switch it now, but I'm just thinking for the future.
well, it was on my plan to vote on this once we get past it. So that would mean our October agenda would have this on it, because we would need to then set dates for the following year, which would be the last weekend of September. And then, at some point start planning. So that would be a vote for our agenda in October.
I really like the suggestion of pooling resources rather than having it just be the Alliance or just be the council, but having a separate group made up of those, and maybe even 1 or 2 people who aren't necessarily a member of either, but want to engage in it. I think it's a big project, and I appreciate all the work that's been done toward it. And
Right.
I've participated in it, but not really been, involved in the process of making it happen. I'd be happy to be more plugged into that myself.
I think it needs a home. So a home organization that sort of, not,
I agree.
I don't want to say
Shepherds it.
owns it, but is the
Shepherds it.
steward of it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Even if it was the art stewards thing, because somebody needs to own the credentials and the hosting and all these things. So it makes sense for some organization to own it, so to speak, but then have multiple partners to get it done. And this would be like something that'd be great actually for the stewards to get involved in.
I agree, because that
As a
way
member of
it
all
doesn't
three
get
organizations,
Mm.
I can do it from any post.
lost.
Same. Yeah, same.
There you go. All right, so is there anything else that anyone wants to say about Fitchburg Open Studios? Tamar, Tamar and Matt, if the maps are done next week, and you need help with folding, I would happily
There'll be a
help
big
with
folding day. There will be a folding day, because I know, Matt, we can't have them printed and folded, right? That was part of,
If it was in the specs that I shared with you earlier, they could be folded, but if we're talking about, two pieces of paper?
well, there, yeah, one large.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so it is one piece. It's just gonna be folded in smaller. All right, good. I think that'll be awesome.
I'd be happy to help with that.
Yeah, I could too. I don't know if that means that we'd be quorum. Would we have to post that?
That's what I'm like, we could just fold it during the meeting tomorrow.
We could fold them during a meeting, or I could just sound the alarm that they're available and people could just pick up a batch, on their own, and we can bring them someplace central. We'll figure that out.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you,
Sure.
Matt. Thank you, Fitchburg State University, for printing them. Go ahead, Tamar.
So Matt, do I need to go directly to the print house, may I, or do I need to go through you?
You can send me the files and I'll work with the printer on that and let them know that
Okay.
it's been blessed from on high.
Okay, thank you.
And the turnaround, again, as you alluded to, things get a little trickier, but it's the 24th and 25th, correct, of September?
Yeah.
We should be okay.
I was hoping to have them within the next like 2 weeks in and out done, so that I could set a date with the Capadaglis to for pickup, for everyone to pick them up.
Okay, so as soon as you have the finished files, let me know, and when I submit it, they'll give me a sense of how fast they can turn them around.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome. Oh, last thing, Tamar, if you don't like how the background of this map looks, you can log into the FCC account and go to Google Maps and change the base to like be satellite or blue and da da da. Yeah, I thought this one worked because it has all the street names and doesn't have a bunch of extra stuff on there.
Yeah, no, I'll keep it as it is.
Excellent. All right. So next, while we're on that topic of a lot of the events that we're organizing, Winter Bazaar, Liz, how are you feeling about it? And
Well, we actually had to set a date for it so that we could get it into the Johnny Appleseed magazine, seasonal magazine that comes out every quarter, I think. So for the winter one, it's so we did set the date as Saturday, the December 3rd. I think I actually got to look now about the time. I got to look back and see what I said for the time, but I think we tried a shorter time for the spring, and I think I made it a little bit longer again, because that was the feedback that I heard from vendors, that they wanted it to be a little bit longer. And then I think it ends at 4, and the Santa thing starts at like 5 or 5:30. So I thought that would be kind of nice, that it would be like kind of a day of winter events downtown. So so I'm prepared to do the winter one. I think I would like to suggest that we only do one a year, and I think winter is better than spring.
yeah, I think it was more successful.
Yeah, and just in general, the market kind of takes care of itself. There's a lot of those kind of fairs that are happening spring, summer, and fall. So we kind of fill a void in the winter time a little bit. I mean, some of those markets are still
It's
happening.
also a holiday shopping opportunity.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
And it's an opportunity for our local artists to sell some things. So, I mean, I'd like to maybe bump the vendor fee down a little bit from what it was, you know, just charge a nominal amount, but make it really low price so that it's not a barrier for anybody.
I heard from some people for Fitchburg Open Studios that the fee was that some people couldn't afford the fee. So I'm thinking about our, you know, our event fees and stuff like that, and wondering if we've been charging, you know, if they have been too high for people. So I think that's a great idea to lower it.
Yeah, and I, you know, I don't know about open studios. I know the fee structure is a little bit different, but every location gets a sign, so there's a cost for every location.
Oh yeah.
So it makes sense that they would be a little bit higher, but you know, maybe somebody contemplates a scholarship program as a application this year, if we wanted to continue to do that and have, you know, for the folks that say it's not affordable to them, so they can participate.
Yeah, and
Actually, we can do that.
yeah.
What was that?
We can do that. We can set aside 20% of what the state gives us for programs and events organized by the Fitchburg Cultural Council. I think we probably have to state what it will be for, but maybe we could do, like, you know, set aside some money for scholarship for, you know, for our programs, for like vendor fees and Fitchburg Open Studios.
Yeah, I'd like to explore that more. Is that different than admin, or is that part of what we'd consider admin?
It's different.
Oh,
I think it was 20%, up to 20%.
Okay.
I'm curious of how it works. Like, do we need to like fill out, like, you know, fill out an application specifically, or what? Because I know last year, when we were doing, you know, submitting, you know, our, you know, approvals and denials, like there was a portion where it's like, do you want to, are you setting aside some money? What is the name of the event? Da, da, da. So I don't know if that's where we tell the Mass Cultural Council, but the idea is that the Cultural Council would set aside 20% their money for programs that are meet priorities, and but none of the applications fulfill that priority. So if, like, you know, the community keeps talking about having an art festival and no one is, you know, stepping up and putting, you know, an art festival on there, that's something that we could do.
Interesting.
Yeah. And maybe also it doesn't necessarily mean that we would have to organize the event. Maybe it could be kind of similar to how we did the scholarship program, in which we had the Women's Caucus kind of do most of the footwork for us.
Yeah, I'd like to explore
I
that.
could
a
talk
little
to
bit.
CM Judge. I know she coordinated that. So,
Yeah, they did a good job.
Mhm.
And we still have that
Thanks for
line
this.
item for scholarships that we could add to for next year. We have to decide later what to do about that too.
Okay, so you said that, what time does it start? The Winter Bazaar?
Oh, I don't have that number off the top of my, the
is it like
time off the top of my head.
11 to 4? Was that the?
I think it probably is something like 11. I almost positive it ends at 4.
You'll send a.
I will
confirmation
send it to
later.
you. Yes. I
Cool.
might be able-
All right, so do we want to suggest a deadline for when vendors should register by, so that we can start promoting that?
I would think if it's going to be December, what is it, December 3rd, you said? That
Mhm.
Yeah.
maybe November 3rd needs to be the deadline for application.
that'll probably be early enough that it'll be before things get really crazy for us as a council. Although, but then you have to take all that registrations and.
Well, yeah,
figure that
it would
out.
be good, I think, if we opened applications for vendors sometime around the beginning of October. And then we, close it in early to mid-November, so that way we kind of have it locked in, 3 or 4 weeks before the event. That would be ideal for me, I think, to, just get the vendor, and we know that vendors, they book up months in advance sometimes, so
Yeah. I mean,
it's good to get out a couple of months in.
Keep in mind, Liz, that will probably be when we'll start meeting weekly for grant reviews. So as long as that's not
That's
too
fine.
overwhelming for you.
No, that should be fine. I mean, the vendors can chug along and sign up, and basically what I do initially is at least just acknowledge their sign up, so that's not a heavy lift. So I'll make it work.
It sounds like you're not quite ready to set specific dates of when we're gonna do those things. So I guess that's just something that we'll keep in mind during large council meetings of when we're ready to start promoting about that.
All right.
So we still want to do the creative meet and greet on Friday, September 23rd.
And when?
It's supposed to be the Friday before Open Studios. So like the day before Open Studios. Tamar says yes.
I'd be up for it.
I think the last one was really well received and really well attended, and people are wanting another one. So yeah, I think that would be great.
Where are you thinking
So-
of having it?
The wines or the cellar should be open by then. And that's on Mill Street. That will be on Mill Street. We could ask them if they'd be interested in us.
What is
bringing
it
the event
called?
there. It was the old wine cellar. It's going to be called the Cellar. So it's where Eddie Music's door is. It's just kind of going up Mill Street towards Main from that, just around the corner next to Gina's space that I'm not sure if Gina's there anymore, but it's like
Think she
kind of
moved.
one door up from that. So they'll have an outdoor patio on Mill Street, or at least that's their hope. I'm not sure where they are in that process.
I'm a little bit worried about organizing an event in one based on Mill Street in 1 month, just because it seems like that it's still very much under construction.
Well, they'll have an indoor area too. I mean, they're not just outside. They'll have
I
a
do know what
bar.
I know what Audrey's saying though. It's just like walking through a construction zone might turn some people away. You know?
Sure.
Has
I mean,
anybody
hopefully
thought about,
by
has anyone thought about the Thirsty Robot? I was there recently for Peter Capodaglia's talk about the Rock Walk. It was packed, and they're having a lot of different civic events there. It's big enough so that people can walk around. It's kind of bright and airy. They do serve food there.
it's a wonderful brew pub to go to. It's just not quite on Main Street, but I suppose it doesn't have to be on Main Street.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if people
It's
are
nice to
gonna-
do it, but yeah, I don't think it has to be. Go ahead, Shara.
I don't know. I think that there's one thing about like things being on Main Street and having it be this like localized, centralized place that a lot of people can walk to. But yeah, I think other places in Fitchburg deserve attention too. And the Thirsty Robot seems to be a really cool place to invite people to.
Mm.
I think the people who are going to drive wherever it is. So that
Right.
shouldn't
And they
matter
do
too
have
much.
parking.
Yes, they do have parking.
Mhm.
I was thinking that either we do like, I think that like the fall is still nice for outdoors, like Hollis Hills, or I think we talked about the Boulder Courtyard, or even doing the Upper Common.
Have you been to the Thirsty Robot? They have a big outdoor.
I have not yet. Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
They have a big
yeah,
outdoor
They have
area.
they have a big
have a
outdoor under a
very-
canopy. It's very nice.
It's a very nice patio. They actually like have big container gardens with like all kinds of flowers and I think
Ooh.
tomatoes and
Ooh.
things like that. They really did a nice job.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
think it sounds great.
The other suggestion I was going to say is Main Street Studios. It's part of the FOS art tour, and it'll be right before FOS. It is indoors, but I thought that would also be a
They
possibility.
may also be getting ready for open studios. So let's keep that in mind. Like if they have work to do to prep for open studios the next day, they may not appreciate having
Yeah.
a bunch of people come in and then have to clean up after that. But the day before open studios.
It's a good
This is
point.
true. Okay. So we like Thirsty Robot as an idea, is it? Awesome.
That
Do
sounds good.
we need to talk to the large council about this, or should I just try reaching out to people?
We can vote on it next week.
Maybe I'll just reach out to them just to find out whether or not they would be available to host on that day.
That'd probably be a good idea because they do have a
Yeah.
pretty busy civic schedule. It's actually an
Yeah.
interesting schedule.
Okay, I will do that.
I've gotta go.
Okay. Thank you, Shara, for coming.
Hi, Shar.
See
Yeah,
you
sorry
next
for-
Bye,
week
Shara.
in person at the large council meeting.
Yes. Okay,
Thanks, Shara.
bye.
Bye. Okay, FCC TV. I think we should probably just stop doing FCC TV just because I feel like I love doing FCC TV. I have so much fun doing it, but I think it is pretty time consuming. At least all the
Super.
preparation work.
It's a lot for you.
Understandable. Yeah.
And also that I physically cannot do it by myself. So we have to make sure that we have the appropriate number of crew. But yeah, Matt, Tamar, Sam, what do you guys think?
Well, I thought, are we doing one more filming
And
next
Eileen.
Monday? That's what I had on my schedule. Is that right?
I told them that we probably weren't going to do it just because I haven't reached out to anyone. I didn't. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, our council is changing, so, which will always be the case. And you're kind of the lead on that, Audrey, so I don't think any of the rest of us have the capacity or even the skill set to pick it up and keep running with it. It's up to you.
Yes, you do.
No.
I mean, no, I don't think you have the capacity, Tamar. But like in terms of like all the different things that you're already
No.
doing.
Skill
Um,
set, no.
But I
No.
think you could have the skill sets.
Well, you can call it a hiatus as opposed to a cancellation.
That's
I
true.
like that. You
Yeah.
never know who's going to join the council in the future and maybe breathe life back into that.
That's true. We could always resurface next spring when we have a new grantee cycle of people to go through.
This is also true. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like my plan for the September TV show would have been basically the same thing as the previous years anyways, in which would have the Blacksmith Festival, Fun Studios, our applications and creative meet and greet. So it would be kind of a similar program anyways.
Mm.
Good job, Audrey.
Thank you. I don't know if Sam is listening, if he has anything that he wants to say about it.
I'm listening, but I'll talk about it now.
Audrey,
Yeah, go ahead.
Audrey, if you're busy, I can check with Thirsty Robot about the meet and greet.
Okay, if you want to do that,
I will, you know.
thank you. That'd be great.
Okay.
Yeah. Eileen, do you want to head organizing the event?
Sure, I did the last one.
Thanks. That'd be fantastic. All right, so yeah, the next council meeting, if that's going to be part of the agenda, you tell us what you need from us.
Okay.
It's Saturday, September 23rd, and we would do it after work, right?
Friday, September 23rd.
Right, Friday.
Would you object to Thursday, December 22nd? Friday might be a big night for them, is what I'm saying. You know, so I wanted a little breathing room if to talk with them.
Thursdays they do trivia, but I think it doesn't start until 7, maybe it's 8. The same thing with Friday. I bet their programming starts at 7 or 8. So if we did an event
From 5 to 7?
from 5 to 7, that would probably be okay. But
okay.
you
Well,
know,
I'll talk to
questions
them
for
and see what I
yeah.
just wanted to see, you know, if there's, you know, any room for moving around.
Eileen, are you suggesting to move the creative meet and greet to December? Is that what you said?
No,
No,
the day
September.
before.
We're
Oh, the
doing-
day
yeah,
before.
the day before.
I was like, oh, that's different. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that could
Well,
be
let me
nice.
get back to you. Let me see what's possible and what they say, and I'll get back to all of you and see what you think, okay? Before
also
the next
think it-
meeting.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I also think it might be nice to, if the creative meet and greet was on Sunday night. I know that people would be exhausted, but then it could be like a debrief. Like all the artists could then like meet each other and talk to each other and be like, oh, you know, talk about what the event was like. But they also might be just pooped.
I don't like to go out on Sunday night. I'm sorry. You know. I know how everybody else feels, but
I'm also open on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So either way, me being able to attend these events are sort of by chance. But they're not, I'm available.
I'm for Friday because I feel like it's, I don't know, it's a nice start to the weekend.
okay. All right. Try to make it Friday.
Also, speaking on open studios, it would be, I wonder if there's a way that we can figure out how we can get artists to, that like, you know, if we can get enough cultural council members or volunteers to sit in for an artist for an hour or so that they can go look at the different art and stuff. Because I know that was like a feedback from last year.
Well, that's what
we
I
didn't get to
do.
enjoy.
That's what I do at Rollstone Church. As a matter of fact, we have one extra, Tamar. We have someone dropped out of the Rollstone. If you want to put somebody else in there, that's fine. But that's what I do at Rollstone Church. I'm there all day for both days. I do this for the church so that they have someone there watching the church, but I also get lunch for them or whatever they need, or stand in for them if they want to go someplace.
That's really nice, Eileen.
Yeah. All right.
Where else do you have clumps of artists at FAM?
Yeah, there's a small clump at FAM. There's going to be a small clump at the Main Street Studios. Obviously, there's a pack at Creative Connections, but they're a store, so they're like open. There's, you know, it's a couple that runs it. And that's pretty much it. Then we have a couple of home addresses in Fitchburg.
Yeah.
I'm by myself at Idea Lab again. So just down the block a little bit from Main Street Studios, which will be nice this year, not to be alone on the block. And that's it. And Rollstone Studios. And then we have a couple of the outliers. That's it.
It might be good to actually go to the individual ones, because if they're a clump, then probably other artists can cover for each other, versus Tamar is like, hello, anyone? Nope.
What?
Like, I can't close up because then it just won't be available. So
I would definitely take a break. Like like if anybody, yeah, it's definitely, especially on the Saturday, because it's kind of a long day. And I can't just leave it open either because it's the university. So I have to either
Right.
close or, yeah.
So
Well, I
maybe,
could probably help a little bit during the middle of the day to give people breaks. Just give me a script.
Okay. Okay. That would be
Yeah.
awesome. Liz, I'll have you, that would be awesome. I could take the help. And then the couple of the others are individual artists, their studios, their homes. So they might be okay. I don't know. That's something we could check on.
yeah, maybe
We have
ask the
time to
artists
do
if
that.
they would appreciate having like someone come in for an hour so that just to give them a break.
Yep.
And then we could, at either our next council meeting or the following, maybe like just have a sign up sheet of like who's available that weekend that could, you know, go around to the different spots and ask people if they need anything.
Or we could have individual people make appointments with individual artists. Like I know we have Abigail Wolf, she'll be on her own, at her own location.
Mhm.
So there's only a couple, there's not that many, so.
Cool. What else? What time is it? 5:28. Oh, okay. All right. So, is there anything else that anyone wanted to talk about before I just do announcements? Like events?
Do we want to, we skipped over the community input meeting recap, or do we want to try to do that, or do we want to talk about that more at our next council meeting?
Yeah, I was unsure. Oh, actually tabling. Tamar, you signed up to table at the Fitchburg Military Band's concert on Sunday, which is FCC funded at 1:30 to 3:30. Are you still able to do that? And do we want to continue putting our energy, and if we have the availability to continue like doing more booths, because survey is done, but we will just be promoting.
Where am I supposed to be Sunday? Tell me.
Fitchburg Military Band, Cogswell Park from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. this Sunday. And I
All right.
think Liz, you and Jesse said that maybe you would be able to, but you weren't sure.
Okay. Thanks for the
Right.
reminder.
I have all the tabling stuff if you want to collect it for me.
Okay, I would like to.
All right. Yep. Connect with me later about what you want to do. I do think regardless if we want to keep doing more booths and stuff like that, I do think it would be good for us to rock the block at FSU if they will have us. I know I might be out of town that day. Matt, as a FSU person, you probably know more about Rock the Block. And
I do. We just got a, am I on? Yeah, we just got an email today about soliciting tables for it. So I probably couldn't staff it because I'm a roving reporter type person during the day of the event, but I will forward information about how we can sign up, or I'll reach out to the guy who organizes it and say we'd like one, if we have somebody who can staff it.
okay.
Cool.
Yeah. So that is going to be, I think, Tuesday, September 6th from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m.
Correct.
So I'm going to look at your calendars and maybe we see if anyone is available at the next council meeting, so that maybe we can recruit some college students to join our council and get them tapped into all the different cool things that are happening in Fitchburg, including Fitchburg Open Studios and Creative Meet and Greets and Winter Bazaar.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, do we want to, like, I know that there are a couple of FCC funded programs that said that they would let us have tables there. Do you guys still want to do that, or should I just find out what's available, and if people are available to go, they can go. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that might be the better route at this point. we are getting into the busier season again, it's going to get harder to commit to being at every event.
So just leave it at block party and also the military band this Sunday. Right? Is what we're saying?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Cool. All right, I will go into announcements or so dates. The public input surveys, please send responses. This is to the public. Please send responses. We want your feedback by tomorrow, Wednesday, August 10th. Liz, I'll come by City Hall on Thursday to pick up any physical responses that were dropped off at the red mailbox. If that works with you, Liz.
Yeah, just check with me first, because I think the last time I passed the surveys off to you, everything that we had was in there. So it'd just be if there's anything new that's come in.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. So if you have a physical survey that you have not turned in to a council member, just drop it off at the red mailbox in front of City Hall. But you can also do it online at tinyurl.com/public input survey 2022. On next Tuesday, August 16th, the FCC will be assessing our results from the survey and determining what our council priorities and guidelines will be this year. September 1st, our council priorities and guidelines will be posted and applications will be open. So if you're interested in applying for a arts, science, humanities, cultural grant that will benefit Fitchburg residents, make sure to both read the LCC guidelines and also our Fitchburg specific council priorities and guidelines to make sure that you're meeting all of those, and also highlight if your application meets one of our priorities. Eileen and I will be doing a grant training via Zoom on Thursday, September 15th. If you have questions on applications, especially if in the past you were denied, coming to this grant training maybe can help give you insight of more of what we're looking for, or to make sure that your program fits our grant application. Maybe we can send you to another.
Audrey, are we doing that face to face, or are we doing that virtually?
You said that you want to do it via Zoom.
You want to
do it in person if you would like to change that.
No, you're planning to do it via Zoom. I think that's better. I think we'll get a larger audience.
Okay, great. And then Friday, September 23rd, as of right now, is the Credos meet and greet. And on Saturday, September 24th from, I don't have the times on here. And Sunday, September 25th is Fitchburg Open Studios, and Saturday, oops, this is not correct anymore. The deadline will be October 17th for the FCC grants.
Audrey, can I ask you a question, Audrey? The October 16th meeting, is that in person?
October 16th meeting.
There isn't a.
August 16th.
Yeah.
Next week, yes. All of our large meetings are in person.
Okay, so that's at 700 Mill Street or Main Street.
788, is it? Or
Yeah,
the legislative building.
The
700 is a big meeting room.
Yeah. The legislative building next to City Hall.
Okay.
Yep.
It's good to mention those things on the calendar, because I got mixed up once and didn't realize I couldn't get to the meeting because I thought it was going to be So you never know
Oh,
what's
yeah.
going to be Zoom and what's going to be face to face.
We have voted that from now on, all of our large council meetings, and I guess now that means all of our meetings, because we won't be doing PR subcommittee anymore, will be in person at the legislative building. Although the Zoom event will be Zoom. And then FCC funded programs that are coming up tonight will be the first Art Stewards training, which they're focusing on the Community Mural Institute. That's from 6 to 8 p.m. If you're interested, go to email Jesse Olson at the Fitchburg Cultural Alliance or Francisco Ramos at New View to get the Zoom link, or just show up at Main Street Studios, because I believe that's where it's happening in person. It'll be every Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. Till, I don't know, September 28th or something like that, September 27th. And then Phantom Toll Booth Jr. by the New Players Theater Guild will be August 11th. Oh, I'm on the wrong day, sorry. This Thursday. It'll be this weekend. So see the kids who have been prepping for the summer camp, see their performance. And then New Players Theater Guild will also be holding auditions on August 18th, and also I think another day for their play 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, which is not just a spelling bee, it's a performance. So they're looking for actors. And then the Fitchburg Military Band will be having, will be doing performances on the 7th, 14th, and I think the 28th are all the days they're doing it. And then in September will be the Appleseed County Fair at Red Apple Farm on September 3rd through 5th. And so go check out those FCC funded programs. I think that's it. Is there anything else that anyone wants to say before we close out?
Good
Awesome.
job, Audrey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure being the chair of the PR subcommittee and chairing the subcommittee. I think we created a little bit of a structure of gotta send out press releases and events and social media and all that stuff. And so I really appreciate Matt and Eileen for working on those press releases, letting the reporters know about what we're doing. And Tamar and Liz have done a lot of heavy work and organizing events, Eileen as well. And Samuel, thank you for being a supporting member, as well as like FCC TV. I guess that since we're not doing that anymore, thank you, Eileen, for being willing to step up, even though soon after we said, all right, that's enough, but at least you got to host one episode. And Tamar, Matt, and Samuel, you've been fantastic working for FCC TV, as well as Casey, who's not here. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You led by
Thank you.
example.
Welcome.
Awesome. So we'll see everyone next week for our big council priorities and guidelines meeting. And that will be in person at the legislative building.
Okay.
All right.
It is
All right. Thank you.
5:41 p.m. You're welcome. It is 5:41 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.